Senor Ortiz. We are back in the building, man. You ready to get this thing jumping?
Man,
let's do it.
Let's do it.
KTTV, giving you what you need. Motivation, education unleashed. H-Town representing, we forever keep it rolling. Join the conversation with inspirational stories. Thought-provoking, feel that energy. Kendrick Thomas aiming to lift the community. True indeed, tune in, come and see. Giving you what you need. KTTV, let's go. KTTV.
Hey, look, man, we are back in the building. I've been gone for a while, but I'm back now.
Hey,
woo,
man,
we had to go off and do some things, man, but now we came back. What to do, brother?
Man, I'm just so happy to be here, man. Congratulations, KT.
Hey,
you
man,
know,
look,
man, I'm
what
so
I
happy
tell you,
for you,
man.
man. Dang.
Y'all, we took a little break, man, but I had to go out and do some things, give me a bigger family, man. But now, after we done got everything covered, man, and we are back in the building. Man, what's been going on, brother? It's been a minute.
Man, I tell you what, dude, stock market's been a little wishy-washy. Been doing good with that JoJo's collectibles, man. Man, and sipping rips, man, because y'all know what time it is. That's right.
Look, man, if I'm not mistaken, you got to episode 100, man. Tell me I'm wrong.
Man, I sure did, and we're pushing through 107 currently right now. So
episode 107,
man. So man, look, man, if you didn't catch number 100, man, I praise you so much for getting me into this stuff. Man, that boy KT got me started with this YouTube stuff, saying you could do it, you could do it, you could do it. All you got to do is record that first one.
That's it,
dude. And then after that, I took it down and said, man, let's make something fun. So we created that sip and rip, and here we are 107 later, man. Appreciate you.
107, man. Now tell me this, man. Since you started the podcast and you've been starting the shows, like how has it come when people see you out or when people are online and they see you and like has the increase in the money from people seeing the stuff and wanting to buy it from the auctions increase, anything like that?
Well, the eBay has gone up tremendously. I've been able to get the eBay out there. But a lot of people, like just friends of friends, people see us, they come over and they're like, "Hey, man, a lot of people want to just open some packs with us." But the big issue with that though is that we got those scalpers out there who are buying everything in the store, and there's not a whole lot left. And then when you try to get it off the market, in the aftermarket, it's twice as much. But we've been, I found some people on eBay. We've been making some deals. I got a couple of people now on Facebook Market that we try to, work some connections with to get some product. And we'll be getting back to the recording here soon, and with episode 108.
108, man. And look, I'm so glad to be back to work, man. We're in the building. We are talking about this money. Oh, look. Man, this market been crazy, man. So I guess, man, without further ado, let's get into some news. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Administrators Podcast. Look, we've been gone for a minute, but we are back like nothing left. Back for the first time, I guess you could say. Let's run it. So we all know that, hold on, let me get my screen together here. We all know that Black Friday is coming up. And if you've been anywhere on God's green earth, you know that these markets have been dropping like crazy. And so as we get ready to go, now with the markets down, with the money down, and Black Friday is here, let's talk a little bit about what that looks like and what some of our market makers or our market news makers are thinking is going to happen for, I guess, for our time. So this is from Reuters. Want to give a shout out to Reuters. We don't need no copyright problems. All right. Black Friday puts a focus on Okay, bro. Can you hear me?
I can now. I think you were cutting in and out a minute ago.
Oh man, that boy had a quick brain freeze, man. Hold up, man. Technology is a wonderful thing when it works. All right, let's get back to the thing here. So this is, once again, I'll give shout out to Reuters. Black Friday puts focus on consumer spending for the rocket markets. So the key points in this holiday shopping season to give a read on the health of the consumer. We all are wondering if there's going to be a credit crisis. So that is something to look at. The wavering stock market could weigh in on shopping. You got to think about a lot of the money is tied up in the markets. We don't want to sell anything when it's down and take that L if we don't have to. And one of the biggest things is, as the government was shut down, we were flying blind for so many weeks, right? And so we'll now start getting some of these delayed U.S. retail sales reports that'll be coming out. And so a lot of these are kind of backdating us. I want to say, we just had some data come out with unemployment and all those pieces, and that was from maybe October information. So we are a little behind. So we're just trying to get caught up with all the data. So let's look a little bit deeper into this story. So with U.S. stocks in the midst of a grim month, investors will look at the coming weeks for signs of the strength in the U.S. consumer, with Black Friday putting the spotlight on the holiday shopping season. Dude, I didn't even know. Really, Black Friday started already. People doing Black Friday sales, man. We got Black Friday happening right now.
Right everywhere. It ain't no Black Friday no more.
So the rally in stocks has stalled in November, with the benchmark S&P 500 declining more than 4% or so during the month. Strong quarterly results from semiconductor giant NVIDIA Corp failed on Thursday to calm the markets. I thought it was over. It was a nice little run, but then they gave us a 52 fake out.
Bam.
So, which have been routed by concerns about elevated evaluations and questions about returns on massive corporate investments in artificial intelligence infrastructure, the AI bubble, quote unquote. So consumer spending, which accounts for more than 2/3 of the U.S. economic activity, will now come under Wall Street's microscope. This trading week will be interrupted by Thanksgiving holiday, so keep that in mind. This will be a short week, followed by Black Friday, known for ushering in discounts. Then we got the Cyber Monday and holiday shopping promotions heading into year end. Where is that Santa rally? So from a sentiment standpoint, the early reads we get back on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, due to the lack of data we have, will be important, said Chris Fasciano, which is the chief market strategist, Commonwealth Financial Network. The entirety of holiday shopping period will be an important read for where we are with the consumer and what that means for the country. So while the S&P remains up 11% year to date, it has declined just over 5% from its late October all-time high. The story goes in to talk about following the September jobs report, which will be the last monthly employment release before the next Fed meeting. Fed fund futures late on Thursday reflected a 67% chance that the central bank will hold rates steady in December after quarter point cuts in each of the prior two meetings. Morgan Stanley economists said on Thursday they no longer expected the Fed to ease in December, but they project 3 cuts in 2026. The policy rate path remains highly data dependent, the Morgan Stanley economist said in a note. In our view, a mixed report means the committee will want to see more data before taking another step. And I kind of agree with the same thing. Everybody is hoping for rate cuts. I think if they do see those, the market will run. But from what it's looking like with the data, with us just catching up, I don't think it's enough certainty to say to keep easing, because at the same time, the data also telling us is inflation is popping back up just a little. So we have to kind of be aware of all sides of the market. But I tell you right now, it is very, very scary. And we'll check that out in our heat check series. What you got to say about that, Jose?
I think I agree with what you were saying and what they were saying about all the data that needs to be clarified to get any true indication on any of the rates that would be dropped. I also think that with the fear in the market, I don't know if they'll put their money into a lot of items either. It's kind of hard to tell whether or not you're not spending it in the stock market. Are you going to spend it on the Black Friday sale. But from past experiences, people are going to do what people do, and you know they panic, they buy, they sell, they go out there and get these gifts, and you know, life moves on. But I think it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple months.
Ooh, because it is about to get ugly. Hopefully not, but like I say, we'll see what happens with the credit. We'll see what happens with the inflation. We'll see. It's a lot going on here. A lot of things is those tariffs moving through the system. So yeah, we just got a lot on our plate, man. So only time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Well, that will do it for our news. Let's take a quick break, and when we get back, let's jump into Heat Check. Hey, welcome back to the Administrators Podcast. I am your host, KT, with my co-host,
JoJo, baby.
Look, even with the time off, man, that boy JoJo came right back on stride. We are in the building, man. Look, dude, I'm glad to be back here, man. It's been a minute, man. I can't believe it's been so long.
It's been a while,
man, but that's all right. Ain't nothing changed. Let's get to
we
Heat
are.
Check. All right, y'all, we're about to get into our heat check. Remember, in this section, we will look at our fear and greed index. We'll look at our heat map and our VIX. Not to say these are the only tools that we use, but these are some important tools that we use when we are trying to read the sentiment of the market, when we are trying to say it's the time to open up positions, all of these pieces. And so without further ado, let's look at our fear and greed index. And so, Jose, man, can you just explain a little bit about what this means?
So, as KT was mentioning earlier from that article, back in October, we were at some high points, October, November, but now the sentiment has extremely changed. A lot of people think we're in this AI bubble with all the tech. And so as you move from left to right on the fear and greed index, the one thing that you start thinking about when you're at extreme fear is buy time. And you know, when you think about what you want to get into, what stocks you want to look at, and most people, this is where we try to get in. We may not time the bottom, but we look for the bottom. And we are at around 11 right now on Thursday, Friday, it was at 7. And then we have our extreme greed all the way to the front, to the right, where now people are starting to sell because they've made their profits. People are still buying, but now it's your chance to go ahead and sell what you got. I do believe, based on the numbers that I've seen, that we are at a tipping point where if we continue to go down, we may not see some green for a minute. But I do also believe that, based on history, based on context, based on the fear and greed, at an 11 and then a 7 at some point last week. If you can see, previous close was at a 6. So I think we are at that point where people are going to start to really consider getting into the stock market and these stocks.
Yeah, man, I agree with that. Everything is low. So if we look, extreme fear has been the thing. Extreme fear, the previous close 1 week ago, extreme fear, and 1 month ago was fear. But if you look, 1 year ago was greed, right? And so what does that tell you? Nothing lasts forever. That's why we say when we extreme fear, that's when it's a buy time. Right now, some people, not enough, because we ain't stopping this rally. We ain't stopping this downtrend, but a lot of people are starting to put that money into the market because they're saying, like, once we get to zero, we almost at zero. It's not too much lower we can go. It's lower we can go. But really, right now, you never know what can happen once we're over here. Anything can happen, and next thing you know, reversal, and we are gone, and we're back over here. So you want to make sure that you're not trying to time the bottom, as Jose said, but also just kind of looking in, okay, this is the time to either start adding to those positions you already have, or kind of having your eyes on some of the main ones that you've been looking at that have been just too high, too overbought. Now's your time to get in. I know Meta has been dropping. I'm a little down in that position, but that just tells me it's time to buy some more, baby. All right, and speaking of that, let's take a look over here at our heat map. All right, bam. So now, look at this heat map, y'all. Remember what we said? We closed at we closed at extreme greed, but if you can look and see, there still was some people putting a little bit of money into this stock market, right? But you got some of our big consumers down. You got Netflix that just had a split, so of course they are down. Apple still running like a champ. Hey, go figure. Amazon up 1.64% that day. Google, oh my God, Google has been on a tear, man. Yes. I don't even know what to say about this, but we got a little quantum situation going on. Our semiconductors. Wow, this, oh my God, I remember Lamb Research, $70, man. Oh my God. So just so many things that we got out here. Salesforce, Adobe still holding its own, even with all the data software issues they've been looking at. So a lot of places are still, man, did you see this, Lily? That's terrible. Bro, a few months ago, Lily was at $700.
Yep, and now look at it. Oh my gosh.
Man, come on, man. So right now, just looking at some of our tickers, and so we can see that some green, with this much green, there is some money that is coming in some places. And so the biggest piece is, like we say, not trying to time it, but anything when you see Meta in the 500s, you should be trying to open up that position. And this is not advice. Hey, all right, man. What you got? What you saying? What you looking at on here?
Well, the one thing that I want to add to for all of this, and even the fear and greed, was we had NVIDIA earnings last week. And, I know a lot of us get busy with work, and we look at things, but we're constantly trying to figure out moves in the market, right? So last week I witnessed 2 days where we went from up tremendous, because NVIDIA came through with the earnings. They were up after hours the day before. They were up pre-market. They were up during the day. SPY was up. The market was flying. And about around 12 o'clock, the market said to hell with everything. And it blew up. Then the next day was still a little bit low, from trying to recover from the day before. But then all of a sudden, we went from extreme red in the day to extreme green in the day. Twice in 1 week, we went from extreme red to extreme green, one way or the other. And the moments that I've been involved in the stock market, I have not ever seen that before. Twice in 1 week where we went in either direction, from extreme to extreme. And I was like, man, what in the world is happening? So then on Thursday, we kind of tapered back down to where it was a decent type of red. I did open or add to some positions, some calls for June that I have. And then on Friday, we were green on Friday, but nothing worth, selling anything at that moment, because we were still trying to recover. Now, the one thing I will say about all that is, at the same time, when you have that extreme volatility and it's extremely volatile, those calls or puts that you have, man, they may not make the money you want them to make based on the amount of movement that they have and that volatility. And so if you were caught up in some calls that were, I was caught up in some NVIDIA calls that expire in December, thinking that when NVIDIA was up that they were going to take off. They didn't. They didn't. So I had to sell them, and I'm glad I did, because once NVIDIA started going down, it was like a free fall. So I was glad I was able to close those out. But what I did notice, some of the calls that I had for long term, June, and then January of 27, those actually did hit pretty well when NVIDIA was up, and did actually go down as well when NVIDIA went down. So depending on where your expiration dates are, it's something to keep in mind when you're opening and trying to add to any positions that you have.
Yeah, man. And the biggest thing for me, you know me, man, I believe that it's market manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's see profits,
Take profits.
Look, man, I had a Robinhood call, and man, bought that Robinhood call, just bottom fishing, end up hitting for a few $100s on, because I only bought one because it's scary right here to swing anything. But I bought it, hit for a few $100s on there. And once I seen that few $100s, dude, I didn't wait for it to keep going because it was so low. I took profits. The next thing you know, all that money that same day was wiped out plus some, bro. So see profits, take profits. Man, all right. Oh, and use that stop loss. All right, that will do it for that. And lastly, we'll go over to our VIX. So this is our volatility index, and it's like how scared. How much up and down, back and forth, side to side are we seeing out here in these streets? And as we can see, we are hitting some high places. When we down here, that's when life is good. But right now, y'all, we way up here at 26. That means it is scary out here in these streets. Let's see what we got here. Our previous close is 23. Our open is 25. 52-week range, 12 to 60. The days range went from 22 to 27. So this could have been one of those days where the week was, one of those when you're seeing things go up. So, because remember, as the market goes up, this goes down. So then, but look what happens. Bam, everything started dropping, and that VIX shoots right back up. So let's see if we can go to any charts we have. So this is kind of our, let's look at our 1 month chart right here, man. And so we're looking and we're seeing what's happening in the month of August. Right, we started our low, we hit that low, and ever since then we have that VIX has been consistently rising. So here we are about to get ready to get into December. Now the only thing is, look at this, right? We had a tap here. We had a little bit more tap. And so we can hopefully say maybe we about to button out, because even if you come way back over here to, what was this, 12/3/2018, but the VIX kind of popped out around the same way. Even coming back over to 7/1/2015, VIX kind of popping the same way. Now, if all hell break loose, let's see when was this. Oh, this was COVID right here. So I'm hoping that we don't get that. That's March 2nd, 2020. Oh, hell, bro. All right. This was let me see. This was 2020. 10. Let's see here. So this was New Year's 2021. So like I say, we coming up into some areas where we did hit some resistance for the VIX. And it did start dropping. So that's why we say start looking at those positions when we're over here in the stream grid, to at least start opening it up, start getting you a little nibbles. Because once again, we are coming to some points where the VIX has rejected on going higher unless something crazy goes on. And so that will do it for our heat check section. What we'll do, let's take another quick break. And when we get back, we're trading with Ortiz.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when.
Hold up, baby. Look, man, the boy's been off, but we are back. The Administrators Podcast. Man, like I say, we've been jumping into it tonight, man. It's like we ain't lost no strides, man. Jumping back into these markets. But now, as you know, because if you would have jumped on that Rich Tech Robotics, you would have made you a bag, messing around with Ortiz. The open door, we had all these ones, man. So,
AMD.
That AMD. Oh my God, man.
Even Nvidia, back and forth. Nvidia, AMD, Apple. Yeah.
See, Ooh, well, oh my. Even that tested, man. But
Tessie, yeah, Tessie.
what you got for us today, man?
All right, so let me see if I get this screen shared real quick. All right, can you see that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this is a SPY chart, and we are looking at the 1 month SPY chart. And if you can see that we have definitely been going in the wrong direction, as what we call it. Don't fight the trend. Ever since, a few weeks ago, we were in the 660s. We've been steady trying to get back out, but now once we got to that 664, we've been, steady decreasing. So the reason why I'm looking at this SPY chart is because we've been talking about the S&P, we've been talking about the market, but we are right around a 38, 39 RSI. We did hit bottom. We did hit it twice, so we had a little double bottom there on the RSI. So we did break through to the oversold, and now we're trying to climb our way back out. So I want to pay attention to this right here. If you look at this on the 1 month chart, we did have a double bottom, y'all. So we had a double bottom here. You can see double bottom, and so now we had this green candle last week. And so I do anticipate a little bit of a push to the upside. Do I think we'll end up all the way up here? Probably not. But it's a good chance that we can get at least to around 665 from this area right now. So maybe a $5, push if you are doing anything short term. I do believe we got some room to run. If we can get past that, maybe we can get back to the 670s. And if we can continue to go upward, because our MACD is also crossing, and by Monday or so should cross to the upside. And so while this line may be heading a little bit to the downside, we can always watch this to see if we get back to that double bottom. But if we can push our way through, 665, 664, back to 670, we could definitely use that. If we break this though, y'all, if we come back to our 650 range, 653, 652, if we break that, chances are we can go all the way down to 645, if not 640. So pay attention to the SPY. But my moneymaker that I've had that has now been tanking for a little bit, is of course NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, we had those earnings, we had that pop, and then we broke back down, and so we're breaking down this monster drop here on the 2 days that we talked about last week after the earnings report. But they had carried the market, but it doesn't show up that way because it automatically went back down. So we are not far from a double bottom. On the 1 month chart, we're at 177 is where we're looking at for the double bottom. So currently we are 178. So if we continue to drop a little bit, I think if we get to that 177 mark, we will see some sort of a bounce. And we are at a 36 RSI or 37. So we are getting close to that oversold. So we are anticipating maybe a little bit of a decline to keep coming. And then, of course, our MACD is going to be crossing soon once we get down to around that level of around 176, 175. So that's where I'm looking at it. If we are in the red on Monday, I will be adding, let me say that one more time, but this is not financial advice. I will be adding to my NVIDIA June calls. I have June calls for NVIDIA. They're up right now, but I might be adding to that, and I might be adding to my calls for January of 2027. I do have a couple of calls left for January of 26 that I will be looking to sell. I made profits on them. These I kept as runners. And so if we continue to go down without any, sight of where we can get a little potential bounce, I will be trying to move those. Our last stock that I want to look at is one that we've talked about many, many times before, Palantir. If you look at this Palantir, you can see that we are definitely in a downtrend. We in November, we were cruising past 200, but now since the 190s, mid-November, we are definitely coming back down. It is the end of November right now, so just make sure that you pay attention to this straight line of descent right here. But look at that RSI. The RSI for Palantir is below oversold. So we are at a 27. Our MACD lines look to be gathering strength across. I see a potential to buy around 151, so perhaps we lose a couple more dollars. There's indication that we may bounce where we're at now, but I'm not too sure that qualifies as a double bottom. But definitely right around 151, 152 would be an area that I look at adding more. I do have calls that expire in June right now as well. And I will be adding to those if Palantir continues in this downtrend. And so one thing that when you look at charts and you look at all of that, whenever you think about your candles and your indicators as far as where your lines of support and resistance are at, just remember to touch bottoms, touch tops. That's how you can look at your resistance. Just pay attention to what KT's been talking about. And when in doubt, zoom out so you can see the whole picture of what it all looks like when it comes to what it is you want. And so that's that. With that, did I stop sharing?
Oh, wait a minute. It's still, yeah, there we go. We back at it, baby. We back. Hey, look. Oh man, look, the welcome back episode of Trading with Ortiz, man. Great segment. So go through them stocks again. I know you said SPY.
So we got the SPY, NVIDIA, and Palantir. So
Palantir, man.
Got Palantir, man. It's got a lot of good things going on. So
look, I want to okay, so what we'll do, let's take a quick break. And I want to also look at that SPY within that platform probing, because I can kind of show y'all the biggest pieces. I've just been learning how to set these charts up in the morning time. And when I tell you, let's take a quick break. We'll be back. Platform probing. Let's go. All right, y'all, let's get into this platform probing. Let's go. All right, y'all, in this episode or this section of platform probing, today I really want to just go back and let's begin to look at how we're setting our charts up. But also I just want to look at as a result of how I set my charts up, the move I was able to catch on SPY. So without further ado, let's jump into a good screen share here. I think this is gonna be it right here. Boom. So let's don't focus on the lines, just focus on the result of those lines, and then I'll go back and explain what everything means on these lines. All right, so in the morning, when I know that SPY is, because really when I say I'm gonna look at some of the day trade, I'm really focusing on this SPY. So I need to know where are my spots at as early as previous day, yesterday, but as late in the game as the pre-market right before the bell opens. Those are the lines that I'm drawing to get myself together. And so if you come out, you can see this is the 1 hour chart, and you can see these two yellow lines, right? And so for me, my yellow lines mean I went to the day before, which is my daily chart. And so let's go over to our daily chart, and you can see where those yellow lines are, because I didn't get a chance to pull them out, so you'll be able to see kind of what happened. Not Friday, but Thursday. I didn't get a chance to look at no charts Friday. It was so. This is what we had that Thursday. If you can look in the morning time when I wake up, I'm coming and I'm gonna get a yellow of my yesterday's low. And so this would have been, what was this, Thursday? Yeah, so this was Thursday's low. And this was Thursday high. I'm sorry. So tomorrow is when I'll chart this. So I did get a chance to look Friday. Hell, I didn't know. Okay, so this is what I did. I came in, I put my yellow tag here for the high of yesterday and my low. And then I came back over here and you can look what happened on that hour chart, right? So look at what happened on that hour chart on Thursday. Bam. Look what happened. I knew that it was going to come back up and test. We had our 675 right here. And then what happens? All hell broke loose. 1 hour. And the next thing you know, what does this look like on maybe like a 15-minute chart? What does that look like? Because remember what Jose said. NVIDIA showed out. They did a thing that Wednesday. And this is all evidence of NVIDIA kind of getting ready to do their thing. But lo and behold, Thursday came. This was after NVIDIA. Everybody that had their joy. We done ran up the day before. After hours, this is all NVIDIA doing their thing. Boom, boom, boom. Market opens. We all up in here by the time the market open. So we still landing on the line. I'll explain that line in a second. But then look at the bankroll that was made because I knew where our biggest point of resistance is. And this is why I say it's important to set your chart up, right? Because I'm just going to go through these points and you can see kind of where we clicked at. This was the yellow lines I just showed y'all for my daily lines. And look at all this that's happening around those lines, right? That's telling me it's a lot of indecisiveness that's going on around here. Even if we go back to like, we'll probably have to still go back a little bit. Where is it? Is this still Thursday? Yeah, this is Friday. So let's go back to Thursday. Bam, that's my Thursday. So even if I'm on a 5-minute chart, right? Jose, do you see how much bankroll this is right here, man? Look, and all you had to do was just be aware. Look at this. I got a red one. Okay, but I still got my EMAs. It's holding. It tried to get back up, but then what happened? It still did never go above that line. So once I see that I'm getting pushed down, I'm taking my chances. I'm taking my chances. What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy 2 to 3 contracts right here. And then I'm going to buy maybe 3 or more contracts after it jump right here. But after I see it break this, I'm loading the boat. I'm going at least for it. But this is a 20 contract position because the 0 DTEs I just bought and I just filled in all my contract, my whole entire lot size. And now until it cross over this 200, I'm waiting. And what happens? Then I know right here what this line, so these pink lines are my lines for pre-market. So I go through and I'll show you what happens. I go through and I make lines now because the day before, if you look in pre-market, where was my pre-market? My pre-market was right here. That's pretty much where I got. Let me see if I can find the date for my pre-market. Hold up. What is this? Thursday? Damn, man, it's hard to backtrack when you're trying to replay this thing, man. But anyway, I knew we had a lot of bouncing over here because my pre-market, that was where it was telling me to set my lines. I'm trying to see if I can find it on how I did it for y'all. But it'd be kind of confusing because everything be in real time. Maybe let's go over here to the 21. Hold on, wait a minute, y'all. Let's see if we can go back over here. So yeah, it still might not let us do it. That's why I came back up into this hour chart, so we ain't got too much fight with that. But nevertheless, people, if we go back over to this 5 minute where it was popping, you can clearly see that my lines was of importance right here, right? So that pink market, that was my lower pre-market. This was my high or pre-market. That's what the pink lines mean. So right now, I have let this ride all the way from up here. I added to my position. So boom, when I know it's getting around here and I start seeing these here, that's telling me some buyers are stepping in at my level. Maybe not a lot. So am I going to close this whole position? No, I am not. So if this is 20 contracts, I may take 10 off. And then I may take 15 off and just let that ride, because I think to keep on going with that many positions, that many contracts, is to be greedy when I started up here, right? So I may take off maybe 15 positions, and then I'm waiting. I will close these positions once we get a close above this 20, right? So what did I do? I waited and I held down, and then I held, and I had a few more positions left, and I'm closing them as I go. So by the time I get here, I maybe have 2 to 3 positions, contracts gone. But other than that, I'm out, because I know this was a pre-market test, but lo and behold, if we drop it back down, I know this is where my previous close was. So I'll say that's when it's really time to go. And so if you can see, we did break up below their previous close, but not too much, right? Because this was our pre-market high. So pre-market low. So I know we wasn't really going to get too much further than this, because it had already been tested as a most recent, right before the market opened. So as we go through now, let's kind of look at what this looks like in play, right? So what I'll do is I'll go over to I just went over to my chart. I removed all my drawings. Now, this is how I'll get ready for tomorrow. What I'll do, oh man, y'all won't see this till tomorrow though, but just let you know, I'm getting prepped. So this is what I'll do. I say this was Friday. Let's see what happened. Boom, I'll put my yellow line right here, because that is the high of that day. And then this is the low of that day. So now, if you go over to your 5 minute chart, I can see I'm not in the trading zone because I am in the middle, right? So it's either we're going to get up here or we're going to get down here. But now, to make a caveat to that, I can't do pre-market yet because we're not in pre-market. But I come over here and I look at my 1 hour chart and I find my 200. So where's my 200? My 200 is right here. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to put me a black line over here, because this tells me that even if we get past this high of the day, it could be some ugly stuff ahead, because this is where my high time frame, remember Jose just said, when in doubt, zoom out. So if I'm zooming out all the way to an hour and this tells me my 200, this is going to be a pretty strong line. So I'll go put that right there. And then I got my 5 minute 200, which is right here. And so the reason I want to do that is, let's say if I'm going in for a quick scalp, and I'll show you, if I go down to my 1 minute, my 200 is in a different place, right? So I need to know, if I'm scalping, that if things fall, I could look for support on this line, because this is a strong 200 line on a higher time frame. So that's why if it breaks this 200 and this 60, then I can kind of look down below to see where I want to support. Also, my VWAP. So if it breaks here, I'm looking for it to come back down here as another strong line of reversal. So those, let me go back up to my 1 hour. So those are some of the charts that some of the lines that I'm put on my chart before things get started. If you can see, I just cleared out my chart, right? But what happened? The line that I created for tomorrow, look at all that traffic that was down there. That tells me, even before we came back and looked at all this right here, that tells me that this line is strong. And so when I see things bounce from there, it doesn't surprise me at all, because I know the importance of that line. If you see, and we come all the way back over to October 17th, what happened is the same line to where we did have a bounce and we start moving back up. So those are just some tidbits as we look at where we set our charts, some of the things we can do. So right now, it'll be just going in to get yourself set up for the day. Mark your 200 on your 1 hour. Mark your, let's go back to the high of the day. Your daily chart. Let's go back to that daily chart. So then what I do, I marked the top and the bottom of my daily candle so I can see where was all that, because we know if it breaks out of this, 9 times out of 10, we are going to test this right here, right? You can see what we got. And so also just remembering too, these lines are not absolute. So that test could have looked like this and then we're back down, right? So matter of fact, it did. So it came up, it tested right here. There's nothing really open here, but we knowing this is our closest line. Good test here, pushed back down, but then all hell broke loose over this way when we came for our next day, because that was our NVIDIA run day right there. So that's how we end up back here. But just looking at those pieces, yeah, that's how you kind of get a chance to set that chart up. If you need to go back, replay this. But I guarantee you, the money is inside of these charts. And I just was able to really just game y'all up. Like, looking at this, look at this right here. This is where we testing them, people. So make sure you get those lines set up. This blue line, this red line is my VWAP. This is my 200 day. This is my 9 EMA, my 20 EMA, and my 60 EMA. And that is what I set my chart up. I do try to put a little lines to show me my next 3 resistance zones, top and bottom. But I only do those if I'm trying to scalp or I'm inside of a day trade to see where I may look to potentially take profits in between those big levels of support and resistance. Man, I think that's it for that, man. That's in that platform probing, man. I hope somebody was able to kind of go back and get that bag off of how we setting these charts up in these streets. We know that the money is in between the lines. Man, what you got to say about that, Jose?
Well, the one thing I want to say is, when you look at that chart, and anyone, my first time looking at any of that, it's a little scary, intimidating, overwhelming. And then as you listen to what KT was saying about the different lines on that, you have to know that this is like you focusing on getting a degree, when you go back to school, you're looking at these lines, because this is your future making money and learning what these different lines mean. So I know that someone like KT has studied all this, so someone who hasn't may look at all this and be like, you know what, man, that's a lot of work to do. But if you put in the work and if you look at those lines and if you look at your different levels of support, resistance, RSI, MACD, volume, even price points, and you begin to look at all of that, man, you can get in and become a day trader, a swing trader, an investor. But you got to be able to, if you truly want to develop any type of skill doing this, you just have to look at it, do it a couple times, and then you start to learn what it all means. So don't let all that, intimidate you, because you can get in there, look at it. And once you start to see certain patterns, those patterns repeat themselves. And so you have to look at your hour, your minutes, your days, just thinking about what kind of trades you're going to make. And that's why what we said a long time ago, you have to figure out what kind of trader you want to be. Do you want to be a day trader? Do you want to be a swing trader? Do you just want to sit back, put the money in and let it sit there? You have to determine all that. That way you can learn all of these different strategies, these skills, these techniques, because it's all about numbers. And once you master those numbers, man, you can make any move, whether it's short term or long term. So don't let all that, this advice to all those out there, because right now we're seeing an uptick in the amount of retail investors that have been coming in. And so don't let all that, scare you. We're here to help. That's there to help. And so just, remember, look at it. Don't be like, oh man, that's a lot. No, just get in there and grind with it.
Most definitely. And so I just want to finish by saying, like you say, the money is in the charts, right? Because this is easily $1,000 in a day. Easy, $1,000, if not more. And so then when you think about for the just knowing that chart, when I told you I was holding to see what happened, this already showed me that this is a point of resistance. It never broke the point of resistance. As soon as it got to test this line again where it was about to go, what happened? Flush back down, right? And so that's telling me that we're not going too far. And so if I'm waiting on something to close above this line before I get out of my contract, because this is my 20 MA on my 5 minute, which tells me a trend reversal, the trend never reversed. So there was really no reason to ever close these contracts besides the fact of I was already in them way up here. But had I been started down here, as soon as I see this, I'm cutting those contracts, right? And taking my little money, whatever I made from here to here. Because this was also reversal counter telling me we was heading back up. But you got to know that what happens in between, and look how we kind of closed that thing. And then after that, we never broke under my 200. That was here. This was 200 for Friday because that's what that blue line means. All right, so man, that was it. Jose, you don't by any chance have that Discord where you can kind of pull it up real fast, do it?
Oh, not on this computer. No.
Okay.
Yep.
So what we'll do, I guess we'll look at that next time and kind of jump into we'll kind of jump into what we got. But other than that, man, let's get ready to close this thing out for today. We have made another one. Welcome back, Jose. We are in the building.
We are back.
All right, y'all. This is KT and
JoJo, baby.
Hey, for the Administrators Podcast, we will see y'all next week.
This is Darnell with Broadcast Houston.
This is Dr. Tamara Beckford.
Hey, this is Candace.
This is London Underwood.
This is Kirsten Bass with Inner City Greens, and you're watching.
Y'all are now tuned in to
KTTV.
KTTV.
KTTV. Is that right?